Alright, so I completed my hat and I counted the rows. So for each colored row there's going to be 24, so I guess it would be 48 stitches. I know this is a little bit hard on the eyes, but or sorry, not 48 stitches, 48 rows altogether to get the finished size that'll fit an adult. So say 22 inches in circumference is usually about average, and I find kids like 6 and up have pretty close to the same size head as well. Not every case, but most cases. So as you can see on my final row, I only did one row of the red, because if you remember, we started off and we only did a single row of the red when we began the project. So now this is I'm sorry, I can't zoom out anymore on my iPad here. So now we're going to join it. I guess you could sew it if you're good at sewing, so you would obviously have to cut a long piece of yarn to give yourself enough to throw it, but there's just a couple things to remember when you are attaching it because of the chain 3 spots and the decrease spots, that when you are joining these 3 top stitches are all going to go into the one. But I like to slip stitch mine. So the way I've done it is I have the right side facing in, so the wrong side, or inside I guess, is going to be facing on the outside. I'm sorry for you right-handed crocheters. I'm left-handed, so this is about the only way I can show it. So what we're going to do is just slip stitch. So we're still going to be just working in the back loops of this row, and then because this is a chain, we'll just work into the remaining chain loops of the very first row that we done. So taking your yarn, we're going to insert in the back, oh sorry, I should chain 1 I guess, insert in the back loop, and we're also going to insert in the chain part and then pull through all 3. Sorry, I'm trying to watch my work. I'm not seeing where I am on for the video. I should have probably chose a better color for this part. So again, insert, where am I here? Insert just in the back loop. As you can tell, it's later in the day too, so my lighting isn't as great. And then insert in the next chain, yarn over, and then pull through all 3. So I'm going to do the next 3. Whoops. See, I have a harder time when I'm trying to do this slow. So I'm going to do the next 3, and I'll show you what I mean. And that's why I like crocheting too, because it's so forgiving. So even if you muck up somewhere, it's 9 times out of 10 not that visible. So again, like I said earlier, we have to put all these 3 stitches into this one decrease stitch that we have back here. So this, it's going to take a little bit of patience. So I guess, well, the way I've been doing it is just inserting. Instead of pulling all the way through, I just leave the loop on my hook. Then I go to the next stitch, back loop, the same chain that I went through, and I leave it on my hook. And then the third one, sorry, and pull through. And then instead of looping around and pulling through, I'll just take that last loop and pull it through around the 3, and that's how I join those 3 stitches in that one. So then we go to the next one and work the 5 in the 5. I'm not sure if you can see this properly. It's a little bit it's not hard to do, it's just a little tricky to explain. So again, you're just working in the back loop of the first row, and then you're just picking up I guess the bottom end of the chain portion and pulling through. So now you have, oh, I'm not there yet, one more, sorry, because we're going to go to all 5. So again, so now we're at the decrease stitch. So now we got to fit all these 3 from the chain side into that one stitch. So increase, I'm sorry, I'm thinking I'm crocheting here. Pull, insert hook through the back, pull up, and then, okay, maybe that won't work. How am I going to do this so that it'll be easier? I guess you could insert in the first one, 1, 2, and 3, and then instead of yarning over, pulling all the way through. Okay, I know it seemed like I didn't know what I was doing there, and I probably didn't. Okay, so we're going to try the next 5. I might redo this video because it looks like I'm having a hard time with this. But like I said, if you're more comfortable sewing, you can sew it. I just find this gives a tighter seam than if you were to just sew it, and it still has that little bit of stretch if you need it. So insert, see, it's hard to show. I'm going to try and do this sideways a little bit. One more. Okay, so this way obviously is easier. So you're going to insert in the back stitch, pull up, leave it on your hook, go in the next back loop, back into that decrease, pull through the 2, leave it on your hook, and one more time. And instead of yarning over, just pull that last loop all the way through. And then we're almost there. The next 5. This part is easier. Let's see if I can do a better job on this portion of it. Once I flip it around, I'm going to see what it looks like once I am done. So again, here we are. So we're going to insert in that decrease, and we're going to, sorry, this is a lot harder to show. So pull through the next 3, and take that last loop and draw all the way through the loops on your hook. So I'm going to go down these next 5. Again, I apologize for the color I chose. It seemed fine this morning, but now that it's later in the afternoon, my camera on my iPad doesn't seem to like it. So, one more. Did I miss one? I think I missed one. Yep. Yep, I did. 2, 3, actually that's 4, and that's 5. So one last time, back loop through the, it's actually a larger hole where you decreased from the first row, pull up, leave it, and good thing this isn't any longer than it is. Pull up, leave it on your hook, through, pull up, and take that last loop and draw through, and now you can work the last 5 stitches. 1, sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place here. This is this is a little bit harder when you're trying to reach around the iPad and make sure you're doing it properly. So 2 more. And one last one. And trying to think why I have an extra one here. Sorry, maybe I skipped one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should work. Sorry. I am very sorry. So 1, 2. See, and this is how I'm not quite sure how I'm going to put it on paper yet. So again, if you're going to find it easier to sew it, you're more than welcome to sew it. My pattern's not written in stone, so if you know an easier way, by all means do it. This is just how I like to do it. So I'm just going to pull up my loop so that I can flip it around and show you that the seam done that way is more or less hidden. So you don't see it. So when you sew it, I guess you would have to try to sew it the same way, just in the back loop, because you still want to create that groove. You don't, or I don't like it when a seam is visible. I mean, you know it's there, but it's pretty hidden for what we are trying to do here. And then, as you can see on the inside, it's not as pretty, obviously. So then that's it. I should actually maybe show that again, or like I said, I might rewatch this and redo it. So what I would do from here is I would cut all my strands of yarn, weave them all in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you. All I did for the top is attach the red. I would use a darker contrast. I mean, I guess it's up to you. If you want to use the lighter color, that's fine. I just like using the darker contrast color that I've chosen. I find it hides better. And I'm going to go through and single crochet these two sides together straight across, and that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead and tie in all the loose ends and rewatch this video and make sure it was visible on what I was trying to do when I was attaching the two ends.